Welcome to the Digital Hospitality Rising Tide LinkedIn Live series. We are grateful that you are joining us. If you are listening to this on the Digital Hospitality feed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, we want you to join us live on LinkedIn every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. if you're in London, wherever you are in the world. The Rising Tide lifts all ships. We are content creators. We're all in the hospitality business, whether we know it or not, and we all need to be digital first. So it doesn't matter where you're creating content, if it's on LinkedIn, if it's on TikTok, if it's on Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, this community will support you. We want to know who you are, what you're working on, and we've done some really cool things since we started 3 years ago on a crazy social audio app called Clubhouse. And we've been meeting weekly, and now we are on LinkedIn. And today we are going to be talking about sampling a product, sampling a service. That is the topic for today. We're going to go around the room, take 60 seconds to introduce ourselves. What are you working on? Where are you in the world? And who are you? 60 seconds. We'll do quick introductions, and then we will get to today's topic. But if you're listening, please follow each other. This is a great community. We will support you not just on this platform, but on any platform. We are all weirdly available. That is how this community grows. We meet up in real life at crazy big shows like the National Restaurant Association show and all the other restaurant hospitality focus shows. But wherever you are in the world, crazy things is crazy people will find each other. We will meet up and we will do really cool stuff. So thank you guys for being here. Jason Berkowitz, kick us off on a Friday. Go for it.
Jason Berkowitz, longtime restaurant operator, founder of Arrow Up Training. We help develop supervisors into compliant leaders. Fun fact, Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique, I think was the last album that actually got away with licensing free sampling of tracks and songs. Yes, Dover, I know you'd like that one. And before they blew it up, and then everyone realized we should charge for it. So different sampling conversation. Looking forward to.
Awesome. We love all kinds of weird facts, crazy facts. Michael Beck down below, Wesley, Natasha, Summer, and James, thank you for recording the room. But if you guys want to join us on stage, please raise your hand. If you're just listening, that's all good. But we would love to have you up on stage. Your perspective, your voice, your experience makes this room better. We can get up to 17 people. That is what LinkedIn caps us at. So up to 17 people. Troy Hooper, Mike is yours. Go for it. Troy, are you testing?
I'm coming. Here I am. Yeah. So now that Sean did this, 45, 60-second perfect entry to the radio show that this has become because it's being recorded, I'll just put the caveat asterisk on the show that it is Friday, and we tend to refer to it as Fuck It Friday. So if you're offended by F-bombs, we tend to get a little loose on Friday. Wednesday tends to be a little more serious with we had some crying this Wednesday because that's my fault. So just want to make sure everybody understands what they're walking into. Friday tends to be a little bit crazier. Anyhow, my name's Troy Hooper. I think I've been in this room only second longest to Sean Walchef, over 3 years. And I have a company called Kiwi Restaurant Partners. We help emerging restaurant brands scale at speed while improving their quality. And Pepper Lunch Restaurants became our largest client and then insourced us. And I am the CEO of Hot Palate America, the holding company for Pepper Lunch Restaurants, co-CEO of the brand globally. And we are absolutely exploding. I think in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to have a list of announcements that we'll just get it all done in one day and everybody can clap and then we can move on with our lives. But life is good. Life is awesome. It is sunny, 68 degrees here in Oxnard Shores, California. Hope everybody's having an amazing Friday and has plans for a spectacular weekend.
I hope you don't give us all the announcements at one time. You better space those
all right
out.
Okay, I'll drip them. Everybody,
Drip,
if you're
drip,
following
drip.
Hey, I hope you follow some San Diego news channels. I don't know, the one that you go to 47 times a year to do on-site.
The one I'm going to tomorrow.
That one.
Yeah.
That one published an article about us yesterday.
And you didn't share it with me? You didn't.
I was a little busy.
I have Google alerts on. I didn't get the Google alert. Maybe I need to update.
Or for that station.
For Pepper Lunch
that
and
station.
Troy Hooper. Come on. What do you think this is?
Well, then you get a lot of alerts. I got my Google alerts on.
That's how
too.
we
I get a
roll.
lot.
Okay, fair enough. Elizabeth Doss, Mike is yours. Welcome to the stage. Thank you for being here. Thank you, James Doss, for helping record the room. Go for it.
Hey everybody, my name is Elizabeth Doss. I am an animated motion graphic designer. So I create GIFs for brands to use across social to increase engagement, to build community, and really just to have fun in general. And what I'm working on today, I love repeat clients. Like that's the fun part, especially I have a lot of real estate agents that I work with, and when they change a brokerage, which is a lot. Hey, can you change my logo? Sure thing. So that's what I'm working on today is getting to work with people I've worked with in the last couple of years. So anyway, back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate your leadership, your consistency, all the help you do for this community. Thank you. Stover, are you able to unmute?
My name is
Yes.
Stover, executive producer with Cali BBQ Media. Usually I'm behind the scenes working on media content. That could be a podcast, a video, long-term plans, short-term plans. Right now, I am working for the barbecue restaurant to put together a press release to announce the official grand opening of the new Navy-based location. So yeah, I have my press release hat on, my journalism skills are in play, and I'm actually kind of happy working on this project.
What is a
Thank you.
modern press release?
A modern press release, in our eyes, is content that's so interesting you watch it, and then at the end you realized you learned something, and that wants you to take action. And so we like a video or something like that, and send it to people in the news. But this, we're sort of doing an actual press release, which is kind of weird. Brings me back. But I got a little flair on it, Sean. So some photos and color.
That's fantastic. All right. Thank you, Stover. Dean LeBay, welcome to the stage, Dean LeBay.
Welcome, guys. My name's Dean LeBay. It's LA_BAY. I'm listening in from New Orleans, Louisiana, home of the National Chicken Fried Festival in October. If anybody in the chicken concept business is on this platform. What am I working on? I got word this morning I closed my biggest deal since I went back to work. I'm just glad to be here. And as far as Troy's right, he probably is the second one that's been on here the longest, but percentage-wise for making meetings, I think I got to beat Troy.
I agree. I agree. Just to poke the bear.
That, but maybe in the last 2 months, yes, for sure. But hold on, wait, Stover, can you do sound effects? I know we're not in Clubhouse anymore, but do you have the the alarm, like the horn? Do you have the? There you go, Dean. Congratulations, that's amazing. Very proud, very happy, very excited for you.
You're talking about the
Big deal. Yeah, air horn. Yes.
Yes, we're
There you
we
go.
are all
Thank you,
free.
Stover.
We're all free to poke Troy all throughout the room. Hildy, welcome to the stage. Thank you for bringing a friend, Shelly. We will get to Shelly next, but Hildy, go ahead, introduce yourself, and then introduce your friend. Welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Hi, I'm Hildy. I sell swag for a living. And on the side, I love giving back to the world and community. And there is this unbelievable global university called Thai University. And they paired me up with Shelly. And Shelly is a genius entrepreneur, solopreneur who has come up with Bake It Box. It's already up and running. And I am not going to do it justice. So we're going to let Shelly continue from there. Go on, Sean, back to you.
Awesome. Shelly, welcome to the stage. Can you introduce yourself? Let us know who you are, what you're building, and where in the world are you signing in from?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm Shelly Gupta, founder and CEO of Bake It Box. I'm calling in from Chicago, where I've lived the last 10 years, but originally from Toronto, Canada. Bake It Box is a STEM-based product for kids. We introduce cultural education and STEM learning through baking projects. It's really fun. We give you all the educational materials and all the baking ingredients delivered right to your door. And I've been working with Hildy on some mentorship and some guidance for a big pitch competition next week.
Amazing. Congratulations. Are you pitching or is Hildy pitching?
I'm pitching. She's mentoring me, absolutely.
Fantastic. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We are grateful and welcome. Please, you guys give Shelly a follow on LinkedIn. Check out Bake It Box. We will hopefully put a link in we have an Instagram group chat, so we can follow you on Instagram as well. If someone wants to join that group chat, send me a message at Sean P. Walchef, ShawnPWalchef. Thank you guys. Jordan Silverman on the stage. Go for it, Jordan.
Happy Friday, Jordan, CEO and co-founder of Starfish here. I am in what is right now rainy Boca, Florida, but I have a feeling in about 2 minutes it'll be beautiful sunny Boca, Florida. I run Starfish. We are a AI software that helps restaurants lower their costs and increase their profits by automating their P&L analysis. Had a restaurant sign up last week in Austin, Texas. They got their first set of AI-generated action items, and within the first week, lowered their dishwashing expense from a labor standpoint by $2,000 a month just in the first 7 days. So we help restaurants, bookkeepers, small businesses automate P&L and go from line by line manual analysis to AI-generated action items. Have a great day, everyone.
That is so cool. Jordan, grateful that you're here. Always follow Jordan, follow Starfish. He's putting in the work, doing the work that most founders are unwilling to do, but Jordan is a man that's building in public. So thank you for being here. Michael Beck, welcome to LinkedIn. I think this might be is this your first LinkedIn Live?
This is my inaugural journey. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, wow. Welcome to the stage, my friend. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You got 60 seconds. Who are you? What do you believe in? And where in the world are you?
Michael Beck, and I'm calling from the future.
But outside of Gaps, my name's Michael Beck. I'm the co-founder and CRO of Popcorn GTM, GTM standing for go-to-market. We help tech companies operating in the hospitality space find their feet, in getting the right customers, the right marketing strategy, and the right partnerships in place. So we are really fanatical about that. We seem to have found our niche, helping more of the disruptive emerging technologies. We're big in AI. We're big in XR, which is VR and virtual and augmented reality. And we have customers that are clients that dabble in both spaces. So it's absolutely fun. What do I believe in? I believe in fantastic relationships, having a lot of fun when we're doing work, and finding other people that want to do the same. And I believe in culture. And I also believe in being one of the first people to dance whenever possible. So I believe in a flash mob.
Michael is also one of the scariest, I hope, ethical hackers.
Don't talk trash about my collection. Oh, sorry.
Michael wears a backpack, and basically better than MacGyver in any situation. He could steal a car, change the televisions, take control of a Taylor Swift fucking concert from a remote control in his pocket. I have seen it. It is terrifying. Please do not piss off Michael Beck. Whatever he wants, he gets, because he can control the world from that fucking back.
Fucking love you, Troy, dude. It's good to be out here with you.
I guess that's your superhero one, because we know you're a big Marvel fan too. So
I got a whole floor of it.
That's your trait.
Yep, it's my little Batman gear, I guess. Well, it's not Marvel, but it's still on brand.
Well, Michael, we are grateful to have you up here on stage. We can't wait to hear your perspective on today's topic. We're going to kick it over to Eric. Eric, welcome to the stage. Thanks for being here. Go for it. You know the drill.
Hey guys, I'm Eric Farrell, owner of the wordkitchen.com. I write for F&B brands and food tech. Today, what am I working on? Working on some coursework for a writing course that I'm in. And I love the image that you put for the event today, because that reminds me, we're going to Costco tonight, and I really hope we can pawn all 3 kids off on some grandparents, because I don't want to take them. It's absolutely nuts taking kids to Costco. Don't want to do it.
My wife would agree with you. Kids at Costco, they don't mix very well.
Yeah, you spend more than you wanted to.
Well, that's for sure. That has nothing to do with the kids. That has to do with Costco.
Yeah.
And the big baskets. I
would far rather take my son to Costco than my wife. My wife is the expense at Costco. We don't need whatever the fuck the thing is that. Yeah, no. The backyard bar made by Rubbermaid. Yeah, whatever. No, thank
you. You're fantastic. Mike LaRue, do you have any Costco opinions before you take your introduction?
I don't think I have walked into actually,
let me rephrase that. I walked into Costco once in probably the last like 3 years, just recently, because I needed a new set of AirPods, because anything you get from Costco, you can return whenever you want.
Forever. Sorry.
Forever. So, but yeah, our Costco orders, and this has actually been, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we do everything through Instacart. Costco has actually an incredible delivery service, so we just get everything delivered to the house. We don't have the time to go shopping.
There it is. Give us
Wow, that's a hack. That's a hack to save money on Costco. Just get what you actually need. That's amazing.
Yep.
I kid you not. Last weekend, my wife and I were in Costco, and we were walking out, and the return is right by the walkout for us. And someone was returning hard seltzers, where the conversation was they tried each flavor and they decided they didn't like each flavor. So they were returning what they hadn't drank yet.
I'll one up you on there real quick. My
For
wife and I
example.
found a bottle, found a bottle of vinegar in balsamic in our cupboard, and it'd been like 10 years old, and there was sediment at the bottom. We just did an experiment, tried to return it. They go, okay.
I saw a Costco manager do a TikTok recently, a couple weeks ago, and he described a story where somebody brought back a playset 18 years later. The kids had grown up, used it, played with it. It was all faded, cracked, and broken. He broke it down, piled it on a cart, rolled it in, and they gave him his money back 18 years after he bought a playset at Costco.
Awesome.
Well, there it is. Costco return policy. We'll talk about the sampling and the return policy when you guys get to share. Mike LaRue, who are you? Take 60 seconds.
Mike LaRue, Vice President of Franchise Development for Angry Chicks. Stay angry, my friends. Let's see, what am I working on? We are actually, I'm spending 90% of my time on something that is hard for my brain to wrap around. It's just design, construction. I'm actually interviewing right now a VP construction who's an absolute stud, and I think he's our guy for sure. Yeah, just cranking away. And what do I believe in? You know, I believe in a lot of things. But I think more importantly, especially what this group has been able to validate, is putting yourself out there and being vulnerable will attract those who align with kind of where you're at. And I bring this up because, you just joined. So Richard and I had an amazing chat yesterday, and it's funny when you're talking with someone that you just have like a lot of similarities, and with our brains, there's a lot of similarities. It was like saying a light bulb just went on isn't even the better analogy, I think, is if it's pitch blackout and you go into a football stadium and you flip on the lights and you hear that big pop and all the lights go on. That was like my call with Richard yesterday. I'm complete.
That's amazing. Well, there it is. We connect in this community, online, offline. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that. Mitch,
We had a good.
go ahead, Mike. What'd you say?
I said we had a really good laugh too.
Oh, good laughter. Laughter works. Laughter always works. Mitch, welcome to the stage. Take 60 seconds. Thanks for being here. Go for it.
Hey everybody, happy Friday.
Avid Costco shopper, Mitch.
Yes, about half of my paycheck every 2 weeks goes to Costco. I don't know how we always go for like iced coffee and oat milk and walk out spending $400. But yeah, avid Costco fan. I work for AppStem. We design and develop digital products, mobile apps, websites, platforms, and super happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Mitch. Richard, the man himself. Richard, go for it.
Good evening. Yeah, it was a great conversation yesterday with Mike. He was teaching me how to say American words properly. It was a very short conversation, so I taught him some English.
Which word did he teach you? Don't leave us in suspense.
What was it? Now I'll come back to you on that because we were stuck in traffic and there was some bad words I don't want to use on there. That was a great conversation. It was a really, really great conversation. And I just want to add to what Mike said. This community is a really interesting and supportive place. And I think a lot of people on here, there's a lot of power in community. And it's something that we all talk about. But when you have conversations outside of this space with people, it's very, very uplifting. And I think it's something that, we should celebrate as a community. I know it's happened for lots of different people, and it's something to be grateful for. And I think that's what I wanted to say. I'm Richard. I'm in the UK. I have a mantra of don't be boring. If you want to find out more, check out my LinkedIn profile. The topic today is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to get stuck in.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard, for being here. And thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. Today's topic is sampling. So I will share a quick story about sampling. I was recently in Boston for a customer advisory board meeting, and there was a product manager. She was on the marketing side, but she brought up a quote that actually I remembered. One of the customer advisory board, JT is actually his name. JT, he is the IT, or he was the IT director for a group that owns, I believe, about 8 different Belgian waffle restaurants out in the Midwest area. But now he switched over and now he's actually works for Toast. But she brought up this quote that he said about marketing. And I couldn't get the quote out of my head, and I wanted to share it with you guys. You might have seen it on LinkedIn, but I posted, he said, the greatest form of marketing is a waffle in your mouth. The greatest form of marketing is a waffle in your mouth. Is a waffle in your mouth. Can you guys hear that? Is that an echo?
Yeah, it was crazy. There was an echo. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. LinkedIn's repeating what I had to say, but the greatest form of marketing is a waffle in your mouth. And that goes to sampling. Obviously, I put a picture of the Costco samples, which everyone is well aware of. But when I think of sampling from a restaurant perspective, sampling is something that is probably one of the greatest forms of marketing. We are going to do our grand opening for our Navy Exchange location next week. So next Friday, I will not be on the call. Troy will be leading the call with the Kings of Fish team, Michael and Garrow. The Kings of Fish is premiering on Amazon Prime. That is a member of this community. It's a very exciting time for the family. It's an exciting time for the community. So next Tuesday is the premiere of Kings of Fish. So if you're on Amazon Prime, please watch that show. But next Friday, Troy will be running the room, interviewing the Kings of Fish team. So the entire family is going to come to our community, talk about a reality show, a documentary that they created, how they created it, 7 years in the making. And Troy is going to do that. But while Troy is doing that, we will be opening to the Navy Exchange. So we'll have the commanding officer, a lot of the people on base. We're going to have the local news, my wife, myself, Howard, Gene, Eric. Stephen, unfortunately, is out of town, but fortunately, because he deserves to have some time away, he's been working so hard. But we are going to be giving out samples of our Wicked Peach Cobbler, samples of our pulled pork, samples of our brisket, putting barbecue, putting cobbler into people's mouths to let them taste the food. You know, I brought up also in my LinkedIn post, Justin Ulrich interviewed Greg Majewski, and Greg Majewski always talks about his time at Jimmy John. Is there somebody, let's see, who's, Michael, can you mute? And Jordan also? There we go, perfect. But Greg Majewski was talking about sampling and how important sampling was for Jimmy John's. And it is such a simple principle that I think we often overlooked. And I know we've got a lot of solopreneurs, we've got a lot of people in products, but there is versions, SaaS versions as well, of giving out a free sample, the freemium model. You know, when I think about our Cali Barbecue Media business, I think about all of the podcasts that we essentially had to do before we started getting paid to do episodes, started to get paid to get brand deals, started to get paid to do content. That was all free. We were just dying for the opportunity. We wanted people to see, how do we do audio, video, words, images? How do we create content? How do we tell the story? And it took us a lot of time, a lot of free samples before we got to the point where we could actually confidently ask for a price, command the price, and know that we were going to over deliver on that price. So today's topic is sampling. You can take it wherever you would like to take it. Jason Berkowitz, kick us off.
Thank you. Thank you. Although I do run a SaaS company and we do sample of our courses to leaders, I'm going to take it back to my operational days where I've had the pleasure of running some companies that had big lines. And so for me, where everyone can talk about sampling as a marketing ploy, I'm going to talk about it as a customer service opportunity. And what we would do is, let's say opening day, there's a big line. It's always great to run down the line and hand out samples to people because it gives you an opportunity to talk to them. So that makes sense. But if what we would implement is we could be up and running, and we were fortunate enough, let's say with Tokaya, that the line would go around the block regularly. And so to me, I used sampling to solve this one major equation in service and hospitality, which is everyone just wants to be recognized that you know that they're there, that you know that they're in the queue. It's like we could sit in the queue on hold for customer service. We just need someone to be like, do you know I'm here, right? And what we would do then is, as the line would grow to a particular point, which was once it got out the door, which wasn't too hard at a location, we would, some places it would be sooner, the manager, shift lead, or runner would know to activate, and they would go and grab samples of agua fresca and menus and anything else that was very simple and start walking down the line and tell people, so excited to have you here. No, it's hot. Here's a little sample of our agua, strawberry lemonade agua fresca, because you always have to give, right, the description of it and paint the picture, and use that to hand out a menu to engage and talk about their favorite items. So to me, I love sampling in a queue as a form of customer service, because somebody who was just pissed off because they're waiting immediately becomes appreciated and happy to be there.
That's a great example. Thank you, Jason. Troy Hooper, sampling. Troy Hooper, no opinions on sampling. We'll come back to you, Troy, whenever you're available or able to unmute. Elizabeth, sampling.
Yeah, sure. So I was thinking about this because while I do work alongside hospitality industry people, I don't work in product based in the sense of like hand you something, for example. But I did want to touch on this for any of the tech people in the room or coaches or digital side of things, that a lead magnet is actually a free sample. Now, I do know that people have to pay, quote unquote, with their email address to receive that quote unquote free sample, but it is a way for you to have a first conversation with people. And sometimes even people that are lurking around and not sure that they want to move forward with you. And so I did want to throw that in there for anybody who's trying to think, I don't know how free samples work. In my side of things, I do think that lead magnets are that. So my story with this is, so I create animated GIFs and gift stickers, and like for Instagram stories and such, I create the stickers that people use on their posts. And I had this gentleman had come across my radar. I think I've told this story in the room before, but this gentleman had come across my radar because he is an author and speaker, but he's like a community builder on Instagram, and he loves blessing people, random people, sometimes the workers in airports and different people. And he just he finds out their story and asks the community if they want to contribute to this. And he's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for people by people just giving a little bit here and there. And it just, the crowdfunding. Anyway, he uses his platform for that. But there was a gentleman, Chick-fil-A in Atlanta has a grand piano in it because Chick-fil-A is from Georgia. And so this gentleman would sit there and play all kinds of music. And Carlos was going through one day and he was just really enjoying how much this man was enjoying doing what he loved. And so he he got online. He said, guys, check out this guy. Isn't he great? But I looked at his tip jar and there's only $10 in there and he probably put it in himself. And so for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to open up my Venmo, and any of the money that you send me, we're going to give him as a tip. And he, in that time period, he got to sit the man down. He started telling his story. He's on dialysis, like there's, just life stuff. And they raised, within that 30 minutes, $10,000. And he was like, who is they? He's like the kid, and he calls them Insta Familia. Anyway, it was this big story. It got picked up, and he left that Venmo open for the next 24 hours, and people raised over $100,000 for this gentleman and his wife, and it changed his life. He ended up passing away a couple years ago from those complications, but by that point, Carlos had brought him to one of the stadiums where he was speaking, and he got to perform before thousands. Like, it was just this incredible thing. But anyway, while the story was happening, I was just watching it happen, watching what was going on. And Carlos did a story where he's like, man, I wish I knew somebody that could make a gift sticker that said Insta Familia, which is what the group that he calls that does these great acts of kindness, and he calls them that. And I told James, I was like, cancel my plans, I'm making this gift tonight. And so I made it, had it uploaded. Thankfully it populated in search, so by the next morning I was able to reach out to him and say, here's your free sample of a Instagram gift sticker, and it's free. And so he was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so I actually got to work with him. Somebody had set up a Giphy account with them, but I was able to help him get that working and create a whole new set of gifts for him and the community. But he's become an influencer for me. So anytime I create a gift now, he shouts me out, and his almost 300,000 followers, I always get several hot leads from that. But it was all because of a free sample of the work that I do. And so I just wanted to throw that out at people. If you're paying attention and you see somebody that, I don't know, that you would want to give something to, because I weigh it, that this relationship could potentially bring back more to me than what it costs me in my time to create or send this one thing to them. And so just keeping that in mind as a part of it. So anyway, I will hand it back to you, Sean.
Elizabeth, what's the gift so we can all look it up?
So you can search his handle in any gift search. It's at @LowSwit. So you've typed, by the way, guys, gifts are searchable by brand. You can put the @ symbol in front of any brand name and then type their name in and find their official gifts, like at Starbucks, at Cali Barbecue Media. But Carlos's is at LowSwit, LOSWHIT. And that's where you'll find all of the stickers that I have created for him. Thanks, Silly.
Amazing. Thank you, Elizabeth. And just a reminder, you were hesitant to share the story because you've shared it before, but it's just a reminder to everyone in the room that the best storytellers, the best comedians, the best orators, the best rabbis, we need to keep telling the stories, because that story is even better than the first time that I heard you tell it. So keep sharing that story. I love it, Elizabeth. Fantastic. Stover, go ahead. If you're able to unmute. If not, oh, there you go.
Not able, just saying hi.
Hey, Troy, do you have an opinion on sampling?
Yeah, I think you should sample your ideas with your potential and existing customers. Little different angle on this. I think you need to test your message, your questions, your food, your service model, your products, before you commit to them. Your customer's your biggest stakeholder. I think you need to sample the ideas with your employees so that as a stakeholder, they have an opportunity to weigh in and give feedback and give insights and thoughts. I think you need to sample ideas, products, services, process with people that have no relation to your business. Outside perspective is some of the most valuable and insightful intelligence you can gather. So I think it's really obvious to sample your product. And matter of fact, to the Jimmy John story, Joe Cranko, the founder and CEO of Jersey Mike's, has made it very clear that their number one form of marketing in the world is sampling their food. And if you happen to ever have a reason to be in contact with a Jersey Mike's owner through, say, a community event, a charity event, a church event, things like that, you'll very often see their catering packs, 24 half sandwiches in a box. They'll sell those at cost, or they'll give them away or bring them to events as a sponsor. That's all under, that is actually a primary form of marketing for the company. They don't really do, if you look, you don't see a lot of Jersey Mike's ad. They have their annual campaigns, and you see Joe behind the counter talking about their fundraising day they do every year to give to local charities. You see a few things like that, but you don't really see Jersey Mike's in your everyday magazine, right? They really believe in hyper local community relation based marketing. So, but sample your ideas, not just your products.
Fantastic. Thank you, Troy. I love the Jersey Mike's story too. Dean LeBay, you have a sample story you'd like to share?
Well, I'm not sure if this clarifies, but I'll tell you what I do. In the industry that I'm in, 99.5% of the people I go see do not need what I need. If they needed me, they would call me. But what I try to do is I try to have a conversation. The sampling that I do is, if someone's looking, I usually bring up technology, and most people have not heard about some of the technology out there, like ClearCause, Ovation, Marquee. So a lot of times I'll bring up, kind of like Troy saying, but kind of a little different. I'll ask them, how are they doing certain things, and I'll say, well, have you ever tried Marquee, or have you ever tried Toast, or that kind of stuff. So that's, I know it's not the same, but that's the only sampling I really do, because I don't make food. I sell restaurant equipment. I build restaurants and design them. And so I don't know if that fits or not. That's what I get. Thanks.
That fits, Dean. Appreciate you. Thank you for doing the work. Hildy, samples. That's your wheelhouse. Go for it.
You're so cute. You know what's interesting about me and samples? Look, I'm definitely a sample whore. I grab a lot of samples and I ship a lot of samples, and it's usually, I don't know, $15, $20 in shipping it costs me. And typically a box of samples is between $200 and $300 worth of swag. The thing is, and at least one person on the stage, if not more than one, can say whether it says Hildy on it, whether it says Geiger on it, or whether it's not branded. If it's something that resonated with that person, every time they see it, every time they use it, I'm brainwashing them and they're thinking about me forever.
My whole fucking house is Geiger, Hildy, random companies I've never heard of. Everything I got now is some sample Hildy sent me.
It is an evil plot to brainwash. And I have had people 10 years later reach out to me, send me a picture randomly. Hildy, still using this, whatever this is, because to different people, it's different things. So I am a firm believer in samples. I have offered to the group that if they send me their UPS ship to address, I will hook them up. Some people have taken me up on it. Some people have not. But I am going to ask for a little bit of grace while Shelly will definitely talk about samples. She does have a Chicago-based ask, and I told her that we would give her the grace to allow her to do that. Back to you, Sean.
Awesome. We love asks. We are firm believers in asking for help. Stay curious, get involved, ask for help. This is the right community. Why don't you start with the ask, Shelly, and then we can talk about sampling. What is the ask?
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm based in Chicago. As I mentioned, I create baking kits of ingredients and educational materials based out of the Hatchery. If anyone's familiar, it's a big food-based incubator in Chicago. I am looking for a production and fulfillment manager who can essentially manage my production space, staffing, procurement, etc. Going into Q4, which is just around the corner, it's always our busiest season. So if anyone has any leads or opportunities, or would be willing to share my JD with their network, that will be absolutely amazing.
Fantastic. That's an easy ask. If you don't put it out there, we can't help. But we've got plenty of people that know hospitality professionals and leaders all over the world, but especially in Chicago. So Thank you for
Awesome.
sharing that. Give us a story about sampling.
My story's a little more interesting, and I actually would love the take from the group, because as a more of an experience and an educational tool, it's kind of hard to figure out what the right sample is of my product. I've sampled the baked goods before, but that doesn't give you an idea of what the experience is like. It gives you what the end result might be like. So I would kind of love some opinions about, how I could be more unique with my sampling, because we've got educational booklets that show you what the experience would be like teaching your kids about, that country. We also have the recipes, we also have the ingredients, and it's a whole experience. It was kind of hard to sample that. I'm going to throw it out to the group.
Have you done? Do you guys do content, like
Yes.
sampling through content?
Mhm.
What's your primary platform that you guys are building on? Video?
Video,
You-
and all the
YouTube?
social channels.
YouTube, Instagram.
A little more Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, awesome. And how's that going as far as sampling, showing versus telling what you do?
Showing is great. Being able to showcase the experience. We use a lot of UGC and our customers to do that.
Amazing. Open it up to the group. Anybody have any feedback for Shelly? Sampling?
I've got something, Shelly. This is Justin. I have an intro myself, just real quick. Marketing leader at Vocalize. We automate local digital marketing. I would say that if you're able to connect with folks within your community to drive them to your experience. So like if you go to, for example, if I'm a smoothie shop and I want people to test my smoothies, I'm going to market at a gym nearby because it's going to attract a similar type of audience. So I can go to that gym and say, hey, I'd like to give your clients, free smoothies, send them my way. If you could find other businesses locally that may be other experience-based businesses or whatever, where you could do some co-marketing together and leverage their audience or their access to their audience to try to drive folks your way, you could do it the same towards them. It would be a win-win, because 7 days a week, people aren't going to be at your facility, or they're not going to be at their facility, but you can work together and pool your marketing dollars and collaborative efforts to drive traffic both directions.
That's really interesting. I appreciate that.
Anybody else?
I got a question real quick. What is there an age group limitation on this? The reason I'm asking is my daughter starts teaching this next week, and her first job, and she teaches like 2 and 4-year-olds. And also, have you thought about the public school industry? If you need a list of every public school in the United States, I can get that for you. Thanks.
That's amazing. We typically say 5 or 6 and up because they're starting to read, but we do have customers much younger that like to do the mixing and the pouring. We've thought about public school more on the side of PTAs and PTOs, so parent teacher organizations, and the ability to help them with their fundraising, so give back some of the proceeds. So would love that list, and can find you on LinkedIn and send you a note.
Absolutely.
Just very quickly, I met with I mentioned this in the room, met with my illustration teacher. He did the hidden pictures for Highlights magazines for years. And he actually works with local, state, and federal grants to be able to go into schools and do some of these programs. And so even capturing that content of especially like Title I schools where the poverty level is low, but they have a lot of STEM activities and those types of things, and even hosting that type of content. And that could potentially be a free sample, but the government will, if you write to them within the, the time period, that type of stuff, they have grants for arts programs, cooking programs, that type of stuff might be worth checking out.
I've got a notion too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Didn't know if you're done yet. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you. That sounds cool. I'll ping you.
So Michael Beck, when we were working with Mod Pizza up in Seattle, they did something that was really interesting. I think might complement what you do. So they do this thing called the Meeting of the Mods at the beginning of every event, where they bring in all the franchisees and supporting cast from across the country. They do a day where they feed the homeless. And what they did with that was they had 10,000 people or just a mass amount of people in the building. My numbers usually off. And they just packed dry goods into, box lunches, and they did about 30,000 of those that they fed. And every year they did that, right? And it feels like it would almost be a natural fit to almost have a hybrid of what Justin was talking about and the other gentleman, and combining these and actually have your organization at the top of that kind of initiative to bring together both scholastically, maybe some kind of drive, something that does the function that you do, and then combine those three passions like an ikigai of philanthropy to both, charge your business, get awareness, and also do something good with it.
And make content doing that.
Yeah, and document the whole thing, right? Like it could be massive. There's all kinds of warehouses, a place you could stage stuff up at. You could have the schools come participate. They could learn about how you do things and know the value, and also love you for what you're doing for the community. It feels like it's kind of a triple threat.
I love that.
I had one more too on the content side of things, dedicating a day a week or a day a month that's a DIY at home version of, I know that because I was looking at your Instagram and stuff, you do at home stuff, but ones where it includes the recipe, like some of the simpler stuff that people might already have around the house, but it includes the recipe, and that could potentially be a free sample where they get to do that, a simpler version that you guys film and broadcast as a free sample of doing it at home.
That's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that, because we could implement something where we walk through the activities live. I love that. Thank you.
There it is. Go ahead, Eric.
Shelly, I had another idea for you. I've got like 5 ideas. I can hit you with some of these offline, but just real quick, the first one that came up, what if you combined like a baking competition and a science fair contest out of this? I mean, if you're going to lean toward any sort of schools, homeschool co-ops or public schools, whatever, maybe you could donate a bunch of materials, encourage this to be both a science and educational thing, but let's make a cooking contest out of it and make it fun. And then if you can turn that into some content, I would think that would be really engaging, especially for kids, if that's your target market.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually work a lot with homeschool, so that could be a really cool kind of challenge that we offer them.
Cool. Yeah, we homeschool our kids, and we're connected to a big homeschool co-op, like 80 or 90 families in this thing. They meet once a week in a great big church, and we turn the whole thing into a school. It's a lot of fun. And I was thinking, wow, Bake It Box is amazing. I love to cook. I live in the kitchen. I'm kind of responsible for teaching cooking class for my kids. I'm teaching them all the time. And I could teach a whole class to any grade level and go from both ends of this. The science of cooking is so important, but I think it gets glossed over all the time. But you've got a million opportunities with this. This is amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to ping you about the co-op. I'd love to learn more.
Awesome. Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in here. It's Mercedes. So I'm on the events sector of things in San Diego. And I was just at the Hospitality Sales Marketing Association International event yesterday that was being hosted, but I'm not sure if you've been in touch with the boards in your local area. We're international. So I'm sure there's a board in the Chicago area that maybe you should check out and collab with them. And even if you just become a vendor for hotels, I know that there's a lot of events that surround kids. So that could be a good approach as well.
Absolutely. I love that all these ideas are like, they're very executable. I have been thinking about partnering with like Marriott's, and potentially I think Hilton also has a big push towards family activities. I'd love to learn more about how to get in there. I will also message you.
Shelly.
I'd love to introduce you to that board member and get you the contacts there.
And
Okay, cool.
Definitely reach out to Mandy Graziano, who is celebrating a birthday. She's one of our digital hospitality leads. She's not in the room today, but from the hotel perspective, event perspective, she is an incredible resource.
I got another one.
Go ahead.
So I don't know if you, I'm sure you've seen Shelly, Ro on YouTube. I think her name's like Rosanna Pissarro, but she she started off with a YouTube channel. She's an influencer and a massive one. And she started off with like Nerdy Nummies, which my kids love watching. But she does basically is an influencer that bakes different things. And I like in our space, we focus really heavily on creating a podcast so that we can create content, long form, short form from it, and amplify it in different ways with different content pieces. That would be an incredible way for you to create your own series basically where you're posting to YouTube once a week and you're in a kitchen and you're making the thing that you have the kit for. You're showing how to do it. Kids love watching the process, watching the baking and everything like that. You're sampling how fun it could be. You could even have a kid with you doing it. And then at the end, it's like, if you want to do this yourself, here's a link, go order, Bake It box and we could send it to you this week, whatever. Right. And you could have your little commercial at the end. But the majority of the video is like the actual process of doing the thing that you're able to do at home if you just place the order at the end.
Absolutely. I love that. I
There it
appreciate
is.
that.
All kinds of great ideas. Thank you, Shelley, for being here. We hope you're getting value. Michael Beck, you got a story to share about sampling?
Yeah, actually, the first story about sampling is I'm going to own my mistake earlier when I was trying to sample you to do a sample to talk about samples. That was
Greatest
me.
form of marketing is a waffle in your mouth.
Yeah, that was me, and I own that. So that's
Oh,
my first story
that
on
was
sampling.
that was you?
Yeah, I was muted, but the software picked it up in LinkedIn. So my other thing was muted, but it just still came through. So I apologize.
So what Troy said was true. You have the ability to
Yeah, he already has,
hack
he
this
already has
entire
an
room.
AI avatar made of you through that voice sample.
Oh.
AI avatar made
Yeah,
of you
sorry
through
about
that
it. All right,
voice
so let's getting serious. Um, so on sampling, it's interesting when you're in a service org. And so there's a balance you have to have between, giving somebody a taste of value and giving away the farm, right? And I think a lot of us are taught, potentially stay away from free consulting. But if you think about it, samples can come in a lot of different forms. So, for what we do, and other people that do consulting or services, you could offer things like an audit or a review. Like, hey, let's see how your CRM is set up. Let's see how your website is set for SEO and other pieces. And as you go through there, you can provide wisdom and guidance. You can give some kind of valuable output. And through that process, they'll also the person you're talking to might get a sense of what it's like to work together, and you can draw them through in that sense, right? Another thing is LinkedIn samples, right? You can start showing partnership. If you're trying to work with somebody, then start working with them without even doing it. You can, bump their posts. You can comment on things. If you're a content creator, you can write a little blog post for them and offer it up and see if that works for you. And there's also network sampling, right? Like Troy, you're a master of that. And actually, almost everybody on here is a master of that. Like, let me open up my network to you and see how you like that, and let's see if we want to keep working together. Gosh, Sean, you're one of those folks that's a master of social sampling. Like, hey, let me get you on a camera with me and see what that feels like. And next thing you know is like they want more of that. And I think the last one's platform sampling. You're doing it now, right? You're having people on your show. We have people on our podcast. We can do real estate on our websites, see if we get them things that are low lift for us, but high value to others. I think that's in the vein of what we're talking about.
That was fantastic. That was great.
Yeah. And by the way, I live dangerously at Costco. I don't do shopping lists.
Do you sample at Costco?
No, actually.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Well, you'll think about it the next time you go.
I do chat up the sample givers, though.
Okay.
I'm sure you do.
Maybe you can put a waffle in your mouth the next time you go.
Hey, can I add on to Michael's real quick?
Of course.
My note that I had to bring up was sample what it's like working with you. And Michael hit everything correctly. I think that people, no matter what it is, let's say I'm at Jimmy John's and I bring a tray of sandwiches to the office next door. It's less about me giving the free food and it's more about how I've made them feel, the surprise and delight. I've been interacted with them and I've established rapport and started to build a relationship. And doing so is what gets people to want to work with you. So just give a sample of what it's like actually doing business with you, that you will bring value or whatever, but that you're just an all around nice person. You're fun to be around and people will want to have more of that in their life.
Great point. Eric, you got a story to share about sampling?
Yeah, I'll lead with, I love the Costco samples. almost as much as my kids love them. And last time we were in, we discovered some new tikka masala sauce that just blew our mind. And every other brand we've ever tried is just long gone now. And we never would have known had we not tried that one. All right, two serious things about sampling. First one is I think the overlooked aspect of sampling that sometimes we don't use enough is the feedback that can come from it. When you're giving a sample of something, whether that's your work, in my world, it's writing work, giving examples of something I can do for a client, or even in the food world, if you're giving samples, do some asking on the other end and say, hey, give me feedback. Did you like it or not? If you didn't like it and you want to walk away and you don't want to buy this thing, fine. Tell me why so I can make this thing better. So the next one of you that comes by will absolutely love it. I think we need to push for that more, leverage that more, including in just giving food samples. If you're standing in line for something at a restaurant and they're walking by and giving samples of stuff, you as the customer, you're figuring out, yeah, whatever that was, I'm not ordering that thing. Or you're just going to up and walk out. Or you're going to decide you love it, you're going to buy it. But you have an opportunity to give them feedback. Some people don't offer that up. I tend to be the mouth that does sometimes. And a less serious note on feedback, sampling really. I'm guilty of not being a world traveler. I've always wanted to be. Never had the means to travel internationally, so I have my couch potato passport, and I've lived on food and travel shows my whole life. And something that I've noticed just culturally that is different between living in my boring little Midwestern American world and what I've seen a lot of other cultures do in vending their products, whether that's, I don't know, a clothing store trying to get you fitted for a nice hat, or somebody at a food stall on the street trying to get you to buy their stuff. Other cultures will chase you down. You walk by them and they know you're a tourist, they are going to come get you. Hey, try this. Hey, try this. And they're throwing words at you. You may not know, but you understand somebody's pushing food on me and they think it's good. And they will work hard to pull you in. They'll use the sample if they have to, but it seems like it works. And I think I need to probably apply that mindset a bit more in my own work. But that's all I got.
I'm caught up on the measuring you for a nice hat.
I've seen it before, but that one came from what was it? Equalizer 3.
Equalizer 3. Equalizer 3. Yeah.
Was wondering if anybody would catch that one.
I'm lost. I know what my hat size is. I don't need anyone to measure my hat size, but Equalizer 3, I got it now. Thank you. Awesome, Eric. Mike LaRue, you got a story about sampling?
Not specifically.
You got an opinion about sampling?
I think it's actually brilliant, but even to another level. So when I think of sampling, I think of just free food. Everyone loves free 99. And, when it comes down to, especially like grand openings, or any type of, I think, local marketing, when you can give food away, you don't diminish the value of the product you're actually trying to market and sell. That's where I think discounting kind of screws people. Like for example, for Angry Chicks, even when I was in Virginia, we never sampled because we never discounted, because once you discount, then psychologically someone, a guest comes in and they're going to get used to paying at a lower price. And this is where I think Groupon was great for the consumers. It was terrible for business, because if people didn't see the value to pay full pop, then they never went. Well, people aren't going to expect to eat free all the time. And so if you're trying to get people in the restaurant or in the door, free food is absolutely, brilliant. And, from a franchising perspective, it's considered part of your local marketing spend. And, you don't diminish, you don't devalue the perception of your product. So, when it comes down to using food, to get people into your restaurant. I always feel that free is the best way to go.
It's great. Great point on discounting. I think we could do a whole room probably on discounting or price anchoring, pricing. Good stuff, Mike.
Thank you.
Mitch, you got a story about sampling?
Yeah, kind of going off of everybody else. I'll go from like a sales angle. I saw this awesome post on LinkedIn and talking about how awesome LinkedIn is, like this room and the support that everyone gives. Like this has been a really cool conversation so far. But I saw a post that was a guy, he's a sales guy that was sending Yeti coolers to prospects they were locked and it had a note on it, a personalized note. And he sent he saw that this guy was a big soccer fan. He sent them this Christian Pulisic jersey and like did all this research. And I think like sampling can be in so many different things, but trying to find a prospect's what makes them tick or an interest and going that extra mile. And like, I think Justin said it, but like sampling what it's like to work with you, it is so like, we don't have to always give away free things, but going that extra mile in sales and just trying to like selling's hard, but if you take that extra step and you try to figure out about something and show that you care and that your company cares and that you're not just spamming out emails or whatever, I think that it kind of fits in with what this topic is. And I just thought that was a really cool tactic of like trying something new, being different, and showing somebody a sample of what it's actually like to work with you. But this is a cool topic, and I appreciate all the help that you guys have helped with Shelly. It's been awesome.
Love that, Mitch.
Yeah, really good stuff, Mitch. I think, from a podcast, we have a lot of podcasters in the room and interviewers. Like part of our job as podcasters and interviewers is to do our research to understand the person before they come onto our show. I mean, I know there's the Larry King formula where you don't know anything so that you come in blind like an audience member, but you've got to be really good. And he was really good at what he does. So, understanding who your guest is, who their brand is, where they are, what are they tweeting about, what are they posting on Instagram about, what do they care about? Like the more work that you can do, the more rapport that you can build with your guest. And that works in sales, it works in hospitality, it works in everything that we do. Richard, thank you for your patience, my friend.
It's a fabulous topic.
Did the Brits give out samples?
Oh yeah. So I worked for a very large supermarket company. I was in the marketing team, and for 12 months I ran sampling for them. And what was really interesting is the data. So we would do test and control. So we'd look at the data between stores where we did it and where we didn't. And on the day you would have, on certain products, you would have a big spike in sales. What was really interesting was 8 to 12 weeks later, the stores where the sampling had happened were running at higher sales levels on the products that we sampled. Because what happens is you have to break people's cycles. So traditionally as consumers, we buy 120 items in our grocery shop, and we might rotate some of them based on, I don't know, if you've got a baby, you might buy nappies and beer. Normally it's the combination. And occasionally you might put a special offer in, but typically we have 120 items. So what you have to do is you have to break people out of their routine. Like we have brands that we like and we trust and we go to. It's the same with restaurants. So what was really interesting for me with sampling was actually looking at the data behind it, because the data says this works. And if you think about it, if you're running restaurants, how do you break somebody's habit? Well, we go to this restaurant because we like it. How do you break down barriers for people to work with you? And that's why I think sampling is incredibly powerful. And then just a final story for you. Working with Jack Daniels for many years, they had an expression, which is, how do we get liquor on lips? If we can get liquor on lips, we can get people to fall in love with what we do. And they launched a product called Honey Jack Daniels. And what they're trying to do with that product was they were trying to get a different demographic into the brand. And they were giving out free samples at airports, and then people would buy the product in duty free. And then what would happen, because they're in a different mindset, when they went home, they would start buying the product because you can jolt people out of that situation that they're normally in. Oh, I don't drink Jack Daniels, or I don't drink liqueurs, or I don't. But you've got an opportunity to change people's habits. And we talk about cost of acquisition in marketing all the time. Think about how much it costs to do some, say, online campaigns. Now compare it with having somebody doing sampling really, really well. And don't get me wrong, if you do it badly, it's a car crash. But if you do it well, you can win hearts and minds. So I would challenge everybody here. How do you get liquor on lips? What's your version of that? For me, in my business, I know that if people hang out with me and they enjoy hanging out with me, then they'll more than likely work with me. So that's my form of sampling. So my question to everybody here is, how do you get liquor on lips?
I absolutely love all of the times that you get to share with us. Liquor on lips, waffle in your mouth. So many great takeaways from today's room. And nappies. I'm guessing that's diapers. Is it nappies? Is that what you said?
And that is our lesson for today, Sean.
Thank you.
If you're in the UK and ask for diapers, people just look at you like you're stupid. It's nappies, my friend.
Well, I learned something. That's why I keep coming back, because I learned so that when I come to see Richard and Scott and Adam and all of our friends in the UK, I will not look like an American idiot. I sent
Sean
proper
a big long list of British American translations earlier today.
Well, I will
Let's
dig
hope
into
he
that.
uses them.
I'll share that in the Instagram group chat so we can all learn something. Shoaib, welcome back, man. It's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Are you able to unmute?
Yes, it's been a while.
It's been a long time, but we appreciate having you in the group chat. I follow your content. You're always part of this community. No matter when you show up, how you show up, we're grateful that you're here, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I took some break. I kind of got burned out. So I took the days off in terms of all social media and stuff. I posted here and there, but we kind of, as you guys know, I am a former restaurant owner and then turned to digital marketer, and now we're moving in full on SaaS and hybrid of SEO. So I needed to just step back and see, where I want to go. So, but I'm back and I'm trying to catch up on every single thing. But I've been following you guys. Like I said, I've been hearing all of that. But yeah. And in terms of the sampling, first of all, in terms of, I want to say, Richard, you said nappy. My family is from Pakistan, so we spoke British English, and American English is different. So it's so funny to hear you that, because when I say some of the words here in America, a lot of people say, "Huh?" So that was a good, I'm glad you said that. So, and then Sean made kind of fun of you. So, but going on in the sample story, I want to share one of the things that we did just for our one of our client that was launching a new drink for. And what they used to do is they when they introduced a new drink, what I recommended is give out free drinks. And one of the best thing that we did is we designed the cup with a really good graphic and with the QR code, and we just handed out in whole neighborhood. And all we were trying to do is, of course, try to drink their boba drink, and from there getting the ROI, what we to get the ROI, we wanted them to scan the actual QR code and go to landing page of ours, and from there just see the story of that boba shop, and really get connected from there. So that's my story of giving out sample.
That's fantastic, Shoaib. Thank you so much. We're happy that you're back in the community. I definitely wasn't making fun of Richard. Richard, we make fun of each other because we love each other. So yes, grateful. Jordan, thank you for your patience. Do you have a sampling story you'd like to share?
I've got a quick story I'll tell. That's not directly related to my business or restaurants, but does go to hospitality. I've talked to you about how I'm a big baseball fan, Yankees specifically, and one of my favorite Yankee memories is when I first got my season tickets for the Yankees. They have a sampling day where what you can do is go to the stadium before the season starts in the off season, and you can sit in any seat in the stadium to sample what your view would be like if that was your season ticket. They have all the vendors there, the stadium's open, you get to walk around, and it's literally just them trying to upsell you into a better seat. Because you have your seat already when you go there, but how much better is this seat? It doesn't cost that much more. And I just thought it was A, so fun, but B, just such a brilliant example of sampling with little to no cost and not much downside. So that's my quick story on sampling that I just
That's a
love.
great. I'm happy that you added that. Yeah, I've Charger season ticket holder. Right? They do the same thing for Chargers. I mean, if you're a good sports organization, you do that. But that's a great way to think of sampling within an upsell of an experience. Good stuff, Jordan. Jason Berkowitz, tip, takeaway, homework assignment on sampling.
I think the samples of suggestions that have been passed around to Shelley and other people here is an incredible representation of community and building it. And that is the sample that I'm taking away.
What's your favorite sample on Paul's Boutique?
Michael Beck just passed one. Jump in there, Mike.
Oh, can you guys hear me? Am I
Yep.
muted? Yeah, Ricky's theme it's just an instrumental in there, and the whole thing is just littered with some of the best, just groovy little just chicka chicka. I mean, all of it.
I don't mind a little Bob Dylan going back to New York City. I do believe I've had enough. What about you, Stover?
I like the one at the end where they sample Slayer, I think.
I do it. Good stuff. So that's today.
There it is, Jason Berkowitz. Elizabeth Doss, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yes, your homework assignment, ladies and gentlemen, if you choose to accept it, is to create a piece of content that is a free sample of you, your business, your thought leadership, your whatever. So I have two examples of it. One, for me, I have a video where I show people how to add their logo to their Instagram stories and TikToks today. And so, but I send this video as a free sample of what it's like to have your logo on your content, etc. I will animate the logo for you as a gift sticker, but a free sample is that you guys can go ahead and start doing that today. And then the other one I love is Scott Turner has talked about this, that he created a podcast, a 15-minute evergreen, think differently about your food and beverage of your hotel type stuff. So when he's working with a potential client, they can share it with their team that breaks down some of the new things that they might be taking a look at. So it's a podcast that he'll send to them for them to be able to have a sample of things to come. So your job is to create a piece of content that is a free sample that you can then share with people. Back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. Troy Hooper. Are you still with us, Troy?
My homework is to remember to add to my 60-second intro about my freaking podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Ulrich, our friend here in the room, is the latest guest to be published on the Pineapple Perspective podcast. I keep forgetting to add podcast to my intro and talk about it. So I got to put it in the calendar invite or something so I remember to bring it up. So please check out the Pineapple Perspective anywhere you listen or watch.
We will remind you, Troy.
Thank you.
Your best reminder is sitting right above you on stage. Jason and I will make sure, and this community will make sure that you mention that. Stover, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yeah, and this since I kind of got into marketing and digital media, I've seen a lot of people, self-proclaimed gurus, and likewise giving out free samples of their ideas and content and PDFs, lots of PDFs, and almost every single one of them is worthless and kind of lame and just in general kind of cheap. And I'm thinking about samples, and if you're walking through Costco and all the food is horrible, all the drinks are cheap, and one of them makes you sick every now and then, you're really not going to want to go back and buy the full thing. So pay attention that your samples are of good quality and something that you would want, and don't pretend that just because it's free, people want it.
Great feedback. Dean LeBay, paperclip samples.
Dynamo Dean, the paperclip king. How the hell are you? The biggest takeaway I got was from Mitch, and he's right. You know, it's about personalization. If you're going to do samples and you know who you're going to send the sample to, if you can personalize it as much as you can, I think that's going to get you a lot more traction than, you know, just doing the shotgun approach where, you know, everybody walks by and you give them a free cookie or whatever. But if, you know, if you've got somebody that you're trying to target and you can do a little research, personalize it, I think that's going to get you a lot further. Thanks.
Great feedback. Hildy, thank you for bringing Shelly. What's your tip, takeaway, homework assignment?
I'll do tip. In my videos, I have 3 what I think are awesome tips. And if somebody tells me in the Instagram chat they want me to repost it, I will. One is how to stop a polo shirt collar from curling. And the second one is the easy way to take laundry home after you've been in a hotel room. And the third is anybody and everybody who has an iPhone, you have your business card on your phone. It's there, but most people don't know it's there. So I have a video showing you where it is and how to edit it to make it really user-friendly and easy to text to people. Back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Thank you, Hildy. Shelly, thank you for joining us today. We hope you come back. We're here every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. What's your tip, takeaway, homework assignment?
Oh, I've got so much homework with all of your thoughts, so I appreciate it. I've already started adding all of you on LinkedIn, so I'll just say it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Hildy, for encouraging me to join, and you'll definitely be seeing me again because this was very helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're grateful that you're here, and just connect with all of us. We are all weirdly available, whatever you're building, however, whatever kind of help you need, you will be surprised who this community can connect you with. Michael Beck, thank you for joining us today. I hope you come back every month, every Wednesday, every Friday, whenever you can make it. Go ahead, Mike. What's your tip, takeaway, homework assignment?
Absolutely. Well, I already did my first piece of homework, which was I did my schedule added infinitum for Friday at this time. The other is to make sure I loop back with everybody on here to connect. I'm extremely excited by some of the thinking and ideas I had there. I think one of the pieces, my key takeaway here is the sample is really about one thing, or a bunch of things, but one of the things that stands out is the sample is believing what you have is valuable, right? And knowing that when somebody enjoys whatever that thing may be, they're going to come the rest of the way with you. So whether it's your time, your treasure, your taste, it's okay to share that with people. I think food is such a phenomenal one to do it with, because, you know, at home I do like somebody else says on here, I do a lot of the cooking, and it's my purest way of showing love to the people around me. And what a great way to show people your love of your food to them when they walk through your restaurant or they come to a place where that you're going to do business. That's my takeaway.
Amazing. Yep. A sample. Your voice is a sample. You guys coming up on stage, you guys participating, you guys being down below, joining the community, sharing the community. That is the ultimate sample. Eric, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Quick story and then a homework assignment. If you guys haven't watched it, maybe it's old. I don't know. I'm new to it. T-Pain's School of Business. It's a lot of fun. It's hilarious. One of the episodes has a company on it that created a drink to cure hangovers. The brilliant thing that they did was to raise money. They would go to their VCs and give them the problem and the solution at the same time. Double your samples. Give your potential clients the problem and then give them the solution. They would give their VCs a really nice bottle of whiskey and say, go home and enjoy this. And they'd also give them a 6-pack of the cure and say, tell us on Monday how you feel. And it worked. I think that's just brilliant sampling. So give away the problem with the solution, do the comparison if you can.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Mike LaRue, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
There's been a lot of tips. I'm not sure if I can I can't think of any tips off the top of my head, but I could tell you homework for myself is to set up my podcast with Troy. I know he email went through my personal email. So Troy, I'm going to do that today. But my biggest takeaway, I think, from this call is Mitch. Is he still here? So he actually had some really good ideas when it came down to making something really personal. I've been thinking about doing something different to target, operators I really, really, really want to get in front of, and we'll start brainstorming on that. So thank you to this group. I got to bounce, but appreciate you all. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you. Richard.
I really enjoyed this conversation. Sampling is one of my favorite elements of marketing. So thank you, everyone. My homework assignment is to think about ways that you can then turn those samples into sales. And that's one of those challenges I'm always working with my clients. So I always say to my clients, how do you get liquor on lips? Then once you've done that, how do you convert it? And I think there's a little gap there. And there's always that challenge. How can you do things better yourself? So that's my lasting thought. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, conversion is a great subtopic from everything we're talking about. Shoaib.
So my homework would be starting creating content more personalization ways. What I mean by that is talk to one person rather than talking to everybody, because I don't have a niche anymore. Before it used to be just restaurants. Now because I started working with lawyers, the dentist, and then the new client that is real estate. So and I am enjoying working with different kind of niche and different people. So but one thing that made it so harder for me is talking to everybody. And what I realized is when I stopped personalizing it, the leads from actual online went down. So I need to start personalizing it each video again.
Awesome. Great feedback. Jordan, takeaway homework assignment.
Richard hit the nail on the head. There's always room for improvement, but I think we've done a good job at Starfish of sampling, but then the conversion is what we need to work on. So Richard, echoing what he said of it's not just about the sample, but it's what people do once they have the sample.
Awesome. And Natasha, we see you down below. Summer, James, thank you guys for being here. Anybody that's listening on replay, please join us on LinkedIn Live. We want to hear you on stage. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your stories. Every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. You can find us at Cali BBQ Media on LinkedIn. You can follow me. I will send you the link. I will add you to the Google Calendar. We're trying to do a better job of updating the Google Calendar. Next week on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about work travel tips. So if you have any opinions about work travel tips, please join us next Wednesday. And next Friday, we are going to have the Kings of Fish cast, Michael Ungaro, who is a part of this community. Their Amazon Prime debut happens on Tuesday. Kings of Fish. If you have Amazon Prime, please watch the show. We are so grateful to have him part of the community. Troy is going to lead that discussion. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Jason, Elizabeth, Troy, Stover, Dean, Hildy, Shelley, Michael, Eric, Richard, Shoaib, Jordan. We appreciate you guys. Great room. Go sample something, go give away something, and convert it. Convert it into a sale. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.